All right, welcome back, everyone, for another episode of Top 10 Toys. This is my toy video rundown of the top 10 toys based on value on certain topics and criteria. This week, based off of the audience vote on the channel, we are going back to the realm of G.I. Joe Classified, but not doing any exclusives. These are strictly off-the-shelf figures, and that's it. No San Diego Comic-Cons, no Hasbro Pulses, nothing like that. These are things that you could have went to the store or bought them online, basically anywhere. Yes, some of these might have been store exclusives in the sense that it's a Target exclusive or a Walmart exclusive. Even Amazon has one in here. But everyone has access to those stores. It was not convention related. It just happened to be a toy that was up and available from certain retailers at certain times of when they were released. Hopefully you're enjoying the series as well as everything else here on the channel. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure that you like, you subscribe, you hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing this small little channel into something bigger and better. And if you haven't used Whatnot yet, now's your chance. For first-time users, you get a free $15 on me to buy whatever you want from whomever you want. No strings attached. 15 bucks you get for free by using the link below. Not only will you help the channel, but you get yourself something nice. So really, what do you got to lose? Now, with all of that said, if you want to see my rundown on the top 10 G.I. Joe classified figures that any of us could have purchased, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. All right, let's get ready to run down the top 10 G.I. Joe classified figures. I'm doing something a little bit different this time as well, as we will not be starting with our honorable mentions. I decided the honorable mentions will be something separate, and they will kind of focus more in on the vehicles, 2-packs, larger things, just to kind of keep apples to apples comparisons, kind of fair. So we're just going to be looking at just figures in our list, and then for some fun, we'll look at some of that extra stuff in the honorable mentions at the end of this program. So with that said, let's start off right away with number 10. And that number 10 is a newer figure that just came out this year, I believe, Torch, one of the Dreadnoks. He used to be one of my favorite Dreadnoks out of the group. The other ones in the original figures, they had big heads. Like I remember if, what was it, Buzzsaw, I think, and what was the other dude with the mohawk and the red glasses? They both had huge heads, like huge noggins, like JD from the Judgment Day, like big heads. But Torch was like a normal looking biker dude. So out of the group of Dreadnought, lackeys, for lack of a better word, he was one of my favorites. Cool blowtorch here. He's got 2 sidearms there in their holsters. Not a bad sculpt here on this figure, and it is pretty close to the original. Pretty cool box going back to the windows so we can see inside and see the figures that we are actually purchasing. I definitely prefer these over the full-on cardboard boxes. We've got a couple of those in this list, but what are we going to do? It was a time. It was a time when there was a shortage on plastic. So we'll just have to look back on it and remember. That said, Cobra Dreadnought Torch, a lot of extra stuff in here, as you saw, not only what the figure was holding, but here in the box, you got his backpack, you got a tube pipe, some little flame accents. Like I said, the 2 pistols for his holsters and his huge torch there. Even got added some tats to his arms, some chains, and pretty cool looking figure. The reason this comes in at number 10 is because on average, this figure, well, though it costs 25 bucks to start, averages about $42.54. So a little over 40 bucks, a little over 42 bucks. Ain't too bad if you can find one of these at a shop and make yourself a few bucks. Yes, it is $24.99 because, like I said, this is a more recent figure, so the prices have gone up. Most of the figures on this list go back to that original $19.99 price point. But Torch here on the newer side, he costs $5 more than our next figure, which at number 9 goes back to the OG original run. We are talking about the OG original Duke. Yes, Duke, Conrad Hauser. I really enjoyed the Energon Universe comic. If you haven't checked out Renovision, I'm a huge fan of the Energon comics, and Duke surprised me. I didn't know I was going to like that miniseries, but it was pretty good. And here we have Duke coming in at number 9. Again, this is a figure you could have bought anywhere. Everyone had them. They were the opening salvo of figures for this toy line. And yes, some of the early ones were a little tough. I even did a video on this over on my comic channel that you can see down below it. But I think it was only top 5. So I decided to redo it, but we did exclusives first. Now we're doing everything else. Get it in the box. A lot of extra weapons here as well. Duke coming in at number 9 with that 19.99 price point that I mentioned. You've got, little extra weapons here, his little binoculars, his backpack. It's got a cool little shovel on it. Brings you back because a lot of these accessories are things he had on the original figure. Granted, the sidearm there on his leg was not removable. It was just built into the toy, figure as it was. But now 6 inches, you get a little bit more leeway, and with modern technology, you can make these things more usable than just a pretty simple plastic mold from the 80s. That said, just edges out Torch here, coming in at number 9 with an average sale price of $43.97. So just under $44 here for Duke, despite the fact that he is from the original line. One of the first few figures off the line. You could still get something for Duke. They reissued him on that retro card back. I think they even had like a Tiger Force or like some other side mission version of him. But it's the OG original that we're talking about here. Up next, coming in at number 8, we have a Cobra infantry soldier. This is actually a Cobra Viper, part of the Cobra Island toy line that was exclusive to Target. All the Cobra Island stuff was made for Target, but I mean, most people have access to a Target around, at least the US. They're all over the place. Access to the website for Target. People could have gotten this figure. This is not in the same vein as the other exclusives from Hasbro Pulse or part of some convention or anything like that. This was, again, openly available just through Target only. That's all. So at number 8, we have this Cobra Viper figure, which is very similar to other Cobra Viper figures they have released, but this is the Cobra Island version, which has a bit of a brighter blue colors, I think, than the other versions, although that it might be a little more muted. This has, again, the bright reds and blues. A lot of accessories here, a lot of cool stuff. And you even see the Special Missions Cobra Island stamp on the packaging right there above the G.I. Joe Classified logo. Here's a better look at all the stuff that you get inside. You got the backpack, a little neckerchief, some goggles. Even though he's got a full-on helmet, there's goggles in case, I guess, you take the helmet off. Big rifle, small pistol, cool figure. This, again, edges out Duke by going over that $44 mark with that $20 price point to start. Pretty cool. And look, you can even pull the mag out. The mag comes out of his larger rifle, which, again, is a fun little feature that we didn't have on the original toys back when I was younger. This is kind of cool. I dig it. And now you can see the goggles just going on top of the helmet at the same time as the neckerchief. So you add all the accessories on them all at once. Everything's there, from the holstered sidearm there on the leg, the backpack's on, rifle in hand. This figure's ready to roll. As are we with our next figure, coming in at number 7. Classic Joe. Going over to the good guy side of things again, we have Beachhead. Beachhead with his red beret there. Also a Target exclusive, also part of that Cobra Island set. You can see here Beachhead coming in again with a lot of extra accessories, a lot of fun stuff from Wayne Beachhead Sneeden. They even give you his full name there on the front of that card. You can put the beret on him, and it gives him a much different look than from what we normally see out of the original Joe figure, who it didn't have that beret. It was just the mask. It was just like the ski mask, sweater type material. Well, not material, because it was still hard plastic, but again, you see the textured shirt that he has on here, and it matches into the mask, that old military style sweater. Couple extra weapons here as well. Things get holstered, and knife going into the side and all that fun stuff. $20 again. This was at Target initially, and this is just a tiny bit more. A lot of these figures are very close in price, but we have to rank them, and hey, a few pennies is a few pennies. So at $44.36, this edges out the Viper and comes in at number 7. Again, edges out by a very, very small margin. We do this list again in another month. Who knows? Maybe they swap spots. But we're down at the bottom of the list, so order doesn't really matter all that much. These are all kind of together in the same ballpark. But that's our number 7 figure for our list as we get to number 6, finishing out the top half of our list. At number 6, we have Storm Shadow. Obviously, not the original Storm Shadow, but Arctic Mission Storm Shadow that was only available through Amazon. Yes, Amazon even had some special figures that you could order, but again, everyone has access to Amazon, whether you like the company or not, whatever. Everyone has access and could have gotten a hold of this figure had they wanted to. And here we go with the Storm Shadow Arctic Mission figure. You see, you got more of the snowy look here, a bit of the dark blues kind of mixed in. A lot of weapons, pretty cool box on this Arctic Mission Storm Shadow. Some gold accents as well is a nice little touch. Plus, he's got like that hood instead of just the normal ninja mask. It's a different look than the original figure. As you can see here, you got a bow, you got the bow arrows on the back, the katana, little kama, grappling hook even. A lot of fun stuff. You could have got this through Amazon for, again, 20 bucks at the time. This was a couple of years ago. And now this thing still goes for just about $46. So, again, you're not going to make a ton of money if you find these, but it's still impressive that a lot of these figures still do more than what they cost initially, considering many of the G.I. Joe classified figures sell under cost because of ollies and a lot of overstock. A lot of figures don't move for anything. You can find them at a discount, deep discounts at a lot of places. But certain figures draw interest, and these are the ones we're looking at here. And with that, we'll move on to the top half of our top 10 and get in at number 5 with another infantry type soldier here. Going back to Cobra, these initially were expensive. These first infantry figures and even the Cobra officers were tough and they were expensive. If you remember, and if you saw my original list, you could see some of those prices. They've come down a little bit, but they are still on the higher side, which is why this is number 5. So Cobra Trooper, also from that Cobra Island subset through Target. Here you go with the box. This one, it's slightly recolored. The Cobra Island version is slightly recolored from the regular version, which I guess that would be the one that was more the in demand, the regular Cobra Trooper figure that wasn't related to Cobra Island specifically. Again, I think the colors were a little more muted on that, but this one still does pretty well for itself and has a lot of accessories here, as you can kind of see in the package, but we break them out, put them here on that white background so they stand out a bit more with a couple of pistols, another different rifle there, helmet that you could slap onto this guy, and yeah, he's ready to go to work. $20 to buy him in the store. Close to 50 bucks now is what you can get for your Cobra Island Cobra Trooper. So yeah, I know, like I said, they're not exclusives, but they are a tiny bit, but still, you get what I'm saying. Cool figure nonetheless. Which brings us to number 4. Number 4 comes from that rough time when we didn't have the window boxes and we couldn't see through, and we had all cardboard. So if you bought this, you just hope he looks as cool as he did on the picture on the box. And this is the Range Viper here. I remember the original G.I. Joe figure. It was badass looking because the skull mask. It looks like it was a exposed brain showing. A lot of like bandoliers and packets and pouches and weapons. It was straight up 90s vibe, image style. Cool figure. He has a little knife on the side there as well. Here's the box I was mentioning. We just got to hope he looks as cool as that, because we can't actually see our figure unless we decide to open up that box. But if you do, you get a whole slew of cool accessories here from that huge like grenade launcher type of weapon there. You got an axe that comes with him. You got a sai, a pistol with an extended mag, and then another heavy machine gun that has little bullets that you see that match the gold on the bandolier. Fun, cool looking figure. Newer, than the last couple of years. So this was at that $25 price point, which kind of negates some of the profit you might make. Because in theory, the last figure would only cost 20 bucks. It has a bigger upside or had a bigger increase than this one, even though they're both about the same at around $49, $48. But since this one cost 25, you made a little less, but you also held on to it for a little less time because this is a bit newer. But average sales, $48.96, coming in just under 50 bucks for this Range Viper figure. And again, awesome look to them. So don't leave them in the box. Open them up. Let that thing breathe. Which brings us to our top 3. So our top 3 for the list gets kicked off with an alternate bat figure. Yes, this is an Arctic bat figure. Much like the original bat figure, it's got the similar mold. It's just repainted white for this snow Arctic style. I don't know if this came through specifically Amazon or not. Maybe it did and I just kind of missed it. But the Arctic bat figure is still one that was not convention exclusive or anything like that. It unfortunately did come through the no window plastic box time. So again, we just got to hope it's as cool as it looks on the box. And if you do open it up, you get a whole crap load of accessories here with the chainsaw hand. You got the backpack that has the extra stuff, huge sniper rifle, different chest plates, even a different face for his helmet. You can take the bat mask off. Cool looking figure. Despite the fact that it is, an Arctic figure, so it's all white, which isn't my favorite color for the toys and for the figures, but still, you want to take him outside in the snow, he'll blend right in. 25 bucks is what he cost. Now you can still get about $52 out of this. So 51.52 is that average sale price on our Arctic back figure if you manage to nail one of these down, for cheap. Going back to Cobra Island once more. I think just once more. We have one of my favorites. I love the original one. He was just a cool looking figure. Major Blood, definite bad guy with that eye patch and everything. The helmet. Major Blood was a cool figure. And even this version, again, out of Target, Major Blood, part of the Cobra Island series. A lot of cool stuff here, and is one of the more expensive figures still, even to this day. It was expensive when it came out, and it's kind of remained there. So here we'll take a look at all the stuff you get inside with the Major Blood. You can take his helmet off. He's got the backpack that has those weird little rockets and little neck chain going, a couple of guns in hand, just like the original. A lot of cool stuff here. Would have cost 20 bucks when you bought it. Now, man, this bad boy fetches a decent amount. Here's just another good look at him with all of the extra little bits added on, to the making his little weapon just a little bit extra with that little rocket added. But you can get over 55 bucks for this thing if you do manage to secure yourself a Major Blood. So Major Blood is a cool one, and he comes in at number 2. Now, leaving us with our top figure. Now, before we get to our top figure, again, I'm just going to remind you right after we're done with it, we're going to do the honorable mentions, which have some of the vehicles. So hang around for those too, because there's a lot of cool stuff there as well. But with that said, let's get to our number 1 figure, and that is this guy right here, a deluxe edition figure. I know that's kind of a cheat, but it costs a little bit more on the the initial buy because there's a lot of extra stuff in there. But still cool nonetheless. And this is the Snow Serpent deluxe figure. So he's got that awesome wolf pelt. No, that is not timber. And you can imagine it is, and you have a whole Vendetta storyline in your head if you want to play with your G.I. Joes, and you got Snake Eyes going back after him. But it's not timber. We'll just say it's a wolf. Also, unfortunately, from that crappy time of no plastic window to see the figure inside. So again, we have to imagine how cool this thing looks. And yeah, it's not bad. It's got a lot of stuff in here too. Apart from the wolf pelt, which is pretty impressive, there's also a snowboard in here and some snowshoes. I don't know if you remember this. The original figure also did come with those snowshoes. Not with as much as this does, but it did have like those little, snowshoes, etc. Some rockets, backpack, bazooka launcher, extra goggles, extra pistols, knives, and etc. A lot of cool stuff on this figure. And yes, it did start with a cost of about $35. With that said, I think it's money well spent. It's a pretty cool looking figure here. Running through the snow here, knife in hand, pistol pelt on. It's really cool. And you add in the snowboard aspect of this too. You could take the head part of the pelt off, and then it just looks like a Jon Snow type of cape on this guy. Definitely cool. 35 bucks, sure, but today you can get 61.50 out of this guy. So that's not a bad return. And like I said, look, you have cool, snowboarding action style here. Fun stuff. But you guys asked for it. This is what you wanted. These were the figures that were not convention exclusives and were not like HasLab exclusives. These were things that everybody had access to when they came out, and maybe you could still go and secure one somewhere, for a decent price. So go hit those stores and take a look, see what you can find. As our top 10 may be done, we do still have some honorable mentions in the form of some vehicles and sets. I call them sets because there's like 2-packs. I think I got 1 2-pack in here, but there are things that you can go into your stores, your Targets. You see like Junkyard and Mutt, and you got a figure with a dog, and then you got a lot of like little figure sets and 2-packs. Not the huge vehicles per se, but still on the smaller side, but cool nonetheless. We'll start off first with this guy, the original bike. This was one of the best vehicles from that original line. I love this thing with the Gatling gun sidecar. Used to always put Stalker on this bad boy when I was a kid. Just awesome. Love this motorcycle. This Came out of Target. This is the Breaker with Ram Cycle. Again, one of my favorites, and it's pretty awesome that I made it full size. I think I got one of them around here somewhere in one of these tubs in one of these cases because, again, I got a ton of GI Joe classifieds because I collect them. They're around you. I mean, you can see I got some on the shelf behind me right here, and those are some of the deluxe figures I mentioned, like Timber with Snake Eyes or Crocmaster with the crocodile. Things like that would be more on the deluxe figure side. Cost a little bit extra, but motorcycle nonetheless. The original run and the original video I did had that Baroness with the Cobra cycle on it. That thing's actually come down quite a bit in price, so it doesn't make our list here. But this one, the Breaker with the Ram cycle, does. You can see the figure inside here too with the plastic window box. So you get to see everything that's included here, including the figure Breaker. And again, it's a pretty cool thing. Get you a better look at all the stuff inside. You got the sidecar with the Gatling gun that comes off of, and not like the original. The original, it was, you popped it onto the side of a motorcycle. That's the only place it went. This, you can actually take the Gatling gun off. You can go Jesse Ventura Predator style with that bad boy and put in the figure's hands if you wanted to. But $42 was the initial cost had you bought this in the store, which realistically ain't that bad. Figures at the time were 20 bucks, so 42 is a little bit more than double, but still, today you could get over $75 for this little figure and bike set. So this little set can get you 75 bucks, which isn't too bad. Up next, we have the 2-pack that I mentioned. So also special editions that they did, even the special editions they did of the figures, repaints that they did during like the 90s, this Tiger Force style. So they took a couple of figures, repainted them. So we have Tiger Force, Roadblock, and Tripwire, and McLeod, which is just, I think, the computer generated thingy, whatever. Still, cool little 2-pack set here. You can see the two of them together. Backpacks, weapons all over the place. A lot of cool stuff here. Plus, you get Tripwire, and you got that special Tiger Force badge on the box as well. Because again, that's what this was. They were the repainted Tiger Force figures. Then they had like the ninja ones, those, and they had the Night Force and all that. A lot of weird repaints that they did throughout the years for GI Joe to kind of keep themselves relevant. But it's kind of fun for them to call back to that already on the classified series. MSRP though on this set is still $55 for these two figures. And again, you get that machine gun set up there, a little bit extra, and the little almost like the bomb droid thing going. I forget. I think that's the McLeod was the little bomb droid thingy. But still, cool set with the gun set up, and you got the bandolier and you can just feed the bullets on through in there. Fun stuff. 55 bucks, and today about $79. So $79 for this 2-pack for these Tiger Force figures, if you were to go and find them. Not done yet. I actually have 5 of these. So we have kind of a top 5 vehicles, and that's kind of what we're running down. So this kind of would have been number 4 of the honorable mentions for the sets and vehicle sets. So number 3, if we were to kind of number them, and as you see, we are still growing in value as we go through this list. We have another Tiger Force set. This one also out of Target. I think the last one was out of Target too, but I didn't put that stamp on it. But Tiger Force Wreckage and the Tiger Paw ATV. ATVs, those were also very cool little vehicles for the Joes. You can basically put anybody on them, and it just was cool. You can zip around, make all sorts of ramps and things out of pillows and blankets. Use your imagination. I don't know. This stuff kind of brings me back. Yes, I'm an old man, but I one time did play with toys. And even looking at this stuff brings me back to those days. And I remember them fondly. Here, unfortunate, no window box. So it's a closed box. Well, I mean, it is a window for the figure, but you don't get to see the vehicle like the bike because you have to actually build the toy inside, kind of like the old days. Not a lot of building involved, not like the originals, but still, you got to put this thing together. So you don't get to look at the ATV itself, but still pretty cool. 55 bucks this would have cost you. You can see all the little accessories you get here as well with the weapons and backpack, knives and missiles attached to side of the ATV, and even like a heavy gun thing on the back. Not too bad. 55 bucks though would get you $80 today. So this comes in at number 3 of our little toy rundown of vehicles and sets. A little side mission, a little honorable mentions. So 80 bucks, not too bad there. We got 2 left. Repainted bike coming up next in at number 2 for the honorable mentions. Yes, I mentioned the Tiger Force. Here is the Night Force, which these came exclusively out of Walmart. I said, everybody's got a Walmart near them, unfortunately. So you had access to this. This is Night Force, Jason, Shockwave, Faria, and Night Pursuit Cycle. So basically a repainted Ram Cycle, painted black, Night Force decals on it. Still looks really cool. The figure itself, it looks like a repainted wreckage from the ATV set, but hey, it is what it is. Then you got this little weird droid, owl thing. Looks kind of like the owl from Clash of the Titans, if you know what I'm talking about, the Harry Hamlin one, old school. But here you can see everything inside. This is the stuff I like it when you can see everything. So bike inside, all the extra little bells and whistles and side, Gatling gun, etc. You can see how the helmet goes on and off of this guy, and you got a lot of different looks you can go with here. And that's just looking at it in the box. But for a clearer view of all the stuff you get in this set, we'll break it down and lay it out here. Like I said, you get a lot for your money. For your $54.97, yes, $54.97, because Walmart has to be weird and doesn't want to price it at $99. They put it at $97. There you go. Average sale price now, though, is about $82.50. So it is a little bit more than our last set, and a little bit more than that Ram Cycle, but it's a lot cooler, in my opinion. This kind of, the black bike is a little cooler than the Army Green. I don't know, but it is what it is. Which leaves us with, unfortunately, it's not a unique vehicle either. We got another repaint. This time we're repainting the ATV, but it's still really cool. Because this is what the original ATV that I had, I remember, looked like. Despite this is not the figure that they had on it, but I remember the original ATV being like a blue and Cobra one, like a blue and red Cobra vehicle thing. But this is a different Cobra ATV. This is the Cobra Ferret Scout and Ferret ATV. And this is a female figure that they give you on this ATV, which is different because there weren't a lot of female figures, especially on the Cobra side of things, when you go back to the original toys. I mean, you had Lady J, you had CoverGirl, you had Scarlet, Jinx, and Baroness. That was pretty much it. Pythona, they never actually really made, and yeah, wasn't a lot to work with there. But the Cobra Ferret Scout, pretty cool here. Again, you don't get to see the ATV on the box, but you do get to see the figure. She's got the helmet like she's going to the X Games. Doesn't look like she's ready for war, but still a pretty fun little look there. Inside the box, you can see here, you get the figure. Not as many accessories as you get on the other one, but the vehicle is still same, tricked out with the rockets on the side, little gunner in the front, little gun in the back. $55 still, and pretty cool. And it says Cobra ATV right there on the wheels, so that's a nice little touch too. But this thing, if you had one, this one comes in at $92.03, so a little over $90, and our top earning vehicle and set and top honorable mention for this list. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff, a lot of fun stuff. Still a lot of toy lines to still cover as we move through these on this show. So every week I'll try to give you something different, something new. I don't know if I'm going to do a poll every week to see what the temperature is for the audience, what you guys want, because I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do all that every time. Sometimes I got to wait for the poll results before I can do the show, and then it puts me behind. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I know you guys kind of wanted to do those Generation 1 Transformer reissues. That was pretty high on the list the last couple of times. The original Kenner Superpowers is still on the to-do list. The Mattel, the Secret Wars, Marvels, and more. Another one I want to get back to. And then I can do a ton of stuff, not only that I did years ago and redo them, like the Muscles and Crystar. We can get into new stuff with like the Rock Lords and Inhumanoids, Silverhawks, Brave Star, the Eagle Force. You remember those Eagle Force figures, those little metal dudes? We can do them. There's tons and tons of toys. I can go on for days and days, and I can't wait to get into all of those toy lines with all of you. So for now, thank you for stopping by and checking this out. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing this little toy channel. I love this stuff. Hopefully you enjoy it too. And with that, I'll see you soon with some more content. All right.